Okay, welcome everybody. This evening for this monthly masterclass, we're going to be all about our throat chakras, everything that can come up in the field in our own bodies and our energies and our emotions regarding throat chakra. We're going to put it all in as much as we can fit in our 2 hours, because I was saying, like, when I was feeling into this class, today especially, like, so much energy is coming up to clear. It's like there's this real opportunity. That's not even the right word, but it's almost like we can't hold on to this stuff in our throat anymore. We can't hold on to the places where we've repressed. So it's like it's up so much. I actually have a headache, and I never ever get headaches. Like, I just don't ever get them. So I'm like, what is this? And I started feeling into that energy of what the headache was. And it's really all about the violations of our throat chakra. And so we're going to talk about, what the throat chakra is really for, and from a creation capacity. We're going to talk about what is in the way, or why we wouldn't be able to have a harmonic, balanced throat chakra all the time. And then I'm going to have you guys put into the chat, what do you perceive is your blocks in your throat chakra? And then we're going to do some clearing, and then we're going to do some activating. So it'll be kind of a balanced experience of clearing the blocks, clearing the bottlenecks, clearing the things that are in the way of us being in that open vessel, harmonically aligned instrument to bring through creation, to bring through healing. And if all goes well and timing and all that, I want to share with you guys a really powerful creating, manifesting technique with sound, because that's actually what sparked this. So I'll give you a little overview of kind of how this came to be in terms of the topic, because I was initially, my left brain said, oh, it's February. And you guys know I love teaching about self-love, and I've got a course, and I'm like, well, obviously we're going to do self-love because it's February. And then, what I think is going to happen, and what, where I'm led is often takes me a little bit to get aligned. So it just didn't feel aligned. Now, who knows, maybe mid-February, I'll put something out there around the self-love. But this is a monthly class that happens typically on the 1st of every month. And I just ask, higher self, source, God, all my angels and guides, like, what's up for us? What's up for us to, connect into, to clear, to activate. So the throat was just speaking really, really loud. So basically how this started is I was giving a reading to a friend, and, what I was seeing, God, there's so much energy right now, y'all. I'm so sorry if my articulation is going to be all over the place, because I'm just feeling so much come in. Anyways, okay, so I'm doing this reading, and I was really seeing how much more effectively we can manifest and create with sound. Now, this isn't new for me. I've actually taught this and practiced this before, but it was like at a different level. But the bottleneck was where we really haven't fully tapped into the capacity of creation, and a lot of the blocks to creation are happening in the throat. And what I heard really clearly is that we're really only accessing like roughly 5% of our creation capacity. So if that's the case, right, what is possible in terms of our capacity to create and manifest and bring more abundance, more joy, more love, more beautiful experiences in our life? So I was really directed to start with the throat. So this is actually going to be like a 2-part class, because what I'm getting is tonight, whether you're listening to this now or later, this is like the prep work. Tonight's going to be the preparation. We're going to prepare our bodies, align our energies, so that next class, when we go to the March Masterclass on March 1st, that's going to really be the emphasis of healing with sound, creating with sound, touching in on light language. I did teach a sound healing course online, like a hybrid online live. And I'm also getting that I'm going to revamp it and put that out there, maybe like March or April. It's just coming in for me to do that. And so more to come on that. So tonight, though, again, tonight's really about like what's in the way. What do we perceive that is a block to creation, to expression, to speaking our truth? Okay. So, and I'm going to tell you some of the things that I have been getting that we need to clear. And then I'm going to invite you guys to put what you have been perceiving. And then we're going to do a big clearing. It's already beginning to clear for all of us. Then after the activation, I'll give you guys some practices for you to begin to play with your voices, with sound, whether it be for healing or creating. So we are going to scratch the surface on some of that tonight, but we're going to take that much deeper dive in March. For those of you who are new, I'm Jen. I always forget to introduce myself. I've been teaching energy healing, energy alchemy, sound healing for several years now. And I really love when we get together as a group and we bring our junk, like how powerful it is for us to be able to transform our energy. And I'm really getting that it is so, I hear the word vital. It is vital for us to remember how powerful we are as creators, and then to put that into action, because it truly is our natural state of being, right? We come from creation, we are creation, right? And so we're remembering and restoring and realigning our natural divine essence, which is creation. You know, I grew up basically literally saying, I don't have a creative bone in my body. You know, art and all that, I had all this judgment. But if I go back a little further, when I was a kid, I loved to sing and dance. And that was my creative outlet, was to move my body and sing. And other people's, you know, I think I had this linear view about what creation was. And so I just shut it all down. Now, now it's like, oh, creation keeps coming in because I've allowed it, right? I've opened it up, right? Now, am I exactly where I need to be in my full capacity of receiving creation? Hell no, right? Most of us aren't, right? Unless we're really unless we really transcended all of our human qualities, most of us are not in that full capacity. But wouldn't it be cool if we could really get there? Right. And that's the stuff that not only changes our personal lives, but changes the world. And because when we start creating for ourselves, we can actually hold a bigger field, right? And we can start to shift the energy on the planet. But we have to do that for ourselves first. And then we can expand, and then our capacity to support others can be enhanced, can be really, really amplified. Okay. So one of the things that has come through about the throat is it's our connection between our head and our heart. And when many of us, because of the way we've existed and lived, you know, our emphasis has been put on our mental mind. And most of you here, all of you here, I would say, who I know are here because we really recognize that we want to live more from the heart. But the mind, of course, wants to be in control because it likes to operate from, you know, a fear program. And so the throat has been really blocked because we have allowed the mind to override the heart. So that's one of the things we're wanting to acknowledge here in the space tonight, is that when we're in that openness of receiving and our heart is open, our throat is open, we begin to express through that, right? We're expressing through the heart, not through just the mind. So that's part of what we're bringing in. The other thing about the throat and about sound, and I got this when I did the sound healing course a couple of years ago, is that our voice, our sound is our own medicine. It is our sound medicine that is in the frequency that is perfect for us to receive. Your voice is your sound medicine. Now, can we receive sound medicine from other people? Absolutely. But I think oftentimes we are not, or we just don't know to recognize or even value the full capacity we are to heal ourselves, because really all healing is self-healing. And so when we begin to practice the full, truer expression of our voices, and we can even direct it to our bodies, to specific areas in our body, or we direct it to a feeling that we want to enhance, or perhaps an emotion we want to release, our voices are our sound medicine that can really layer and create just much more power to our intentions. Sound layered with intention is creation. So I'll tell a quick story about that. As I was leaving a sound healing class, I wasn't teaching, I was taking, Paul Hubbard does this class called holographic sound healing, and he's out of Austin. And he really like opened up so much. This class opened up so much for me with really remembering, because it was like, I felt like I was home, remembering the significance of sound. So anyhow, I'm driving, I'm walking out of the class, and I trip on my ankle. You know how, what do they call it? Your ankle gets a flat tire, and your whole body weight lands on the side of your ankle and it hurts so bad. So after, and I'm right getting to my car, but it hurt, I knew I didn't break it, but I was like, I probably sprained it. So anyhow, I get into my car, and fortunately I had just spent hours practicing how to use my voice for sound healing. And so I'm getting in my car, driving home. I got about a 15-minute drive, and I just started singing to my ankle. I started, visualizing and creating an intention that it would be fine, right? That all the pain would go away, any injury would be repaired, and my ankle would return to its, perfect state. And then as I'm intending this, I'm just toning, right? Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to sound good. And I'm going to share something with you guys tonight that I was listening to today. I was like, that was really powerful, but it didn't sound very good. It was a recording I did. Anyhow, so 15 minutes later, I pull into my driveway and I step out of the car, and nothing, not even a twinge of pain. It completely was like totally neutral, totally normal. And I really believe, spirit puts these kind of things in our path to help give us the validation. And I really believe walking out of the sound healing class, it's like, okay, let's put this to practice. And I was like, holy cow. So I do know how powerful our voices are, but I also know that, like, even having all that awareness and teaching this and doing it myself, sometimes I forget. And so I love bringing these classes in, because it reminds me to how important the practice is to open our throats, to open our voices. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what the blocks are. Where do we become stagnant? Where do we filter? Where have we shut down? Where have we not been truthful? I'm going to put some things out there. And as I'm doing that, I want you guys to write down and put in the chat what's coming up for you, because what we're going to do is, and if you haven't worked with me before, basically when we get into the energy together and we put into the field what we're looking to release, just by putting it in the chat, just by you having an awareness of it, you don't have to put it in the chat. You can write it down on a piece of paper, but it actually brings the energy up for all of us to clear. And some of you weren't on when I said this earlier, that I was tuning into the group and I was starting to kind of feel into the energy. And I know we have a ton to release tonight. I feel it coming up. I feel the intensity of it. We don't have to necessarily give it name. I don't even know all, like, cognitively what's up to clear, but I just know there's a lot for us to release tonight, so that we can, activate, open, balance, and harmonize, not just our throat chakra, but our whole body. So, okay, I take some water. So, I took a couple of notes. So sometimes we think about our throat or our inability to communicate is like, or just maybe keeping quiet. But sometimes it can be as subtle as like when we're not 100% like being direct. So like, what if we're sugarcoating something? What if we're saying something just a little bit softer, but it kind of just tweaks the truth of it because we're not really willing to own what we want to say. Okay. It can be, and I'm saying this because sometimes where our throat's blocked can be super subtle, right? It's like, oh, I speak my truth. I'm honest, right? I'm doing all these things, but sometimes it's like, someone says, hey, are you okay? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm fine. But really, you're pissed and you're feeling resentful, right? Like it's these little things. And so we really want to align with our truth, our soul's truth. Now, that's not to say like, vomiting our stuff out onto everybody, right? I'm not saying that, but it's acknowledging the truth within yourself. So if someone says to you, like, are you okay? And you can say, you know what, I'm just processing through something right now. I just got a little bit triggered. It's not about you. I'm working through it. But if I'm seeming like I'm not 100% okay, that's just because I got some stuff going on inside, right? It's not blaming the other person or making them, party to your situation, but it still is much more truthful than to say, yeah, I'm fine. Some basic things where we shut our throat chakra down is just, not even verbalizing what is true for us, keeping quiet, not asking for what you want, right? I'm looking at Darlene because we were in Enchanted Rock this weekend prepping for our retreat, which this is also leading up for the retreat. This is like another preparation because that's all about creative expression. And, we're driving and like, where do you want to eat? Well, where do you want to eat? Well, where do you want to eat? Right. Maybe we really didn't know because I know I didn't. But, how many times have we said, oh, whatever you want? But maybe you really wanted something, right? Maybe you wanted to go to Italian food, but you were going to defer to somebody else because you just didn't want to put that out there or own it. Real small, subtle stuff, right? But important to recognize. Sorry, there's stuff clearing. Because even these little things where we're not acknowledging our authentic voice and our authentic truth is like a little mini self-betrayal. So like last January's class, we talked about, harmonic soul alignment, right? This is like where we're really wanting to get into resonance with our divine soul being, right? Get some of the blocks out of the way, some of the fear out of the way, some of the unworthiness out of the way so that we can more fully bring in our divine truth, our divine soul essence, right? That's my goal, not my goal, but like my theme of the year is harmonic soul alignment, because I'm really willing to look at all the places that I might not be aware of or that I've been avoiding because my human self doesn't want to let it go, right? To bring that in. And I find that the throat is one of our biggest bottlenecks. We also, many of us, most of us have a lot of past life trauma from eons and eons of persecution, right? What came up in the field when I was connecting in with y'all was religious persecution. Okay. So, and the word blasphemy actually came in pretty strong, which I don't tend to use that word because I don't believe really anything's blasphemous, but to say that like, not that long ago, to voice certain things was blasphemy and you could be killed, right? Tortured, maimed, persecuted. So that's a big one. That's, I think, something that has been continually coming up in the field for many, many years, in regards to our true, full, bold, courageous expression of self. Also coming up in the field to clear was anywhere we've, we were told to be quiet as kids, right? Keep it down, be quiet. I mean, I'm sure I did that to my kid, right? It's like, kids are loud and they make a lot of silly noises and they can be annoying. And you're like, oh my God, could you please keep it down? And so like, I actually remember, singing and stuff as a kid and being told to be quiet and just, it's like, it's almost like a physical slap in the face. Cause you're like, oh, it's a crush, right? Some of the other things that came up to clear are my voice doesn't matter, feelings of inadequacy around that, around speaking, around like, just like the being of you, getting a sense of, not feeling worthy to express. See, I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my words because the energy is coming up as I'm talking about it. So we're going to move into the clearing here in a minute. So as I'm saying that, I want you to go ahead and put in the chat, what's come up for you? What awarenesses do you have? And you're welcome to unmute yourself as well. This is definitely interactive. It will be recorded and sent out. So just FYI, you'll be on camera if you do that, or you can take your camera off and just unmute yourself or raise your hand and put in the chat. But what else do we want to bring in the field tonight that we are wanting to transmute? And while you're considering that, the other thing that I've noticed a lot, of course, probably everyone here is an empath or empathic in some degree. And you probably wouldn't be here if you wouldn't, because that's just kind of who I tend to connect with. But a lot of empaths have, really identified their worth through other people. So, the people pleasing. And then of course, if we're operating from a sense of making sure that someone else is okay and people pleasing somebody else, there's typically a negation of self and a shutting down of your voice. Okay. Fear of coming into our superpowers. Yes, that's a big one. Thank you, Allison, because I'm also aware, and this has been coming up in sessions, about how much power we're containing, how much power we are not allowing ourselves to not just feel, but just to really express. And that came up really big last week. And it came up in a session that I was, somebody was working on me. Excuse me. So we're afraid of our power because we've been persecuted for it. Okay. Erica?
Yeah. I just thought it'd be easier to speak than type. The ancestral trauma is a big one for me, and also generational, specifically with both my parents, with them being shut down throughout their lives, which trickled over, as you already mentioned, about being told to be quiet when you were little and a children. Like at my family dinner table, there was no conversation that happened. And if my sisters and I were kind of like giggling or talking amongst ourselves, it was like no giggling at the dinner table, and shut down right away, silence. My dad had a hard day at work. He just wanted to eat in peace. So it was always like very much told to be quiet. Another thing that comes up for me is comparison with others that are maybe more creative than me, that I see as being more creative than me, but also within the family. There's a lot of creativity in my family, and specifically my oldest sister she's a published author. She's an artist on so many levels, an illustrator, a seamstress. There's nothing that she can't do, and that was ever since we were little. She was like that. And so my whole life has been comparing to that. Well, I can't do that like her, so I'm not creative. And it's been hard for me to see my own creativity, which is different than hers, and accept that I am creative, and believe in that too, because of the comparison.
Yeah. And can you, when you're talking, can you hear your voice? Yeah. So it's coming up for you. And I'm sure many people who heard you, and thank you for that vulnerability and sharing, because comparison's a really, really big one. And, when you were talking, I really was feeling your heart, because those experiences didn't just shut down your throat and your capacity to create, but they also, it's a wound to the heart to not be heard. And so tonight, in addition, obviously we're focusing on the throat, but I want everyone to just be aware of, the ripple effect that these kinds of experiences that we've held affect our whole, right? They affect our heart. They affect how we think, how we express, right? And to me, like, our divine expression is the same as like divine creation, right? And that's what we're doing, is opening that up. So I'll encourage anyone who resonated with Erica, because she's speaking for the whole here, for all of us here, to just get a sense of that in your bodies. And as we're talking and as I'm going through the chat reading some of the other things that we're going to clear, I want you guys to get real present with your bodies, because these energies are beginning to uplift or beginning to move. So I'll encourage you all to do a lot of breathing, drink some water, and be willing to, like Erica, to be willing to feel and acknowledge the pain that we've all carried because of these experiences. These are really deep wounds, right? So thank you, Erica.
It's funny you mentioned my voice too, because I've had this for a couple of months now. It's gotten really bad over this past month, where it's like I feel like I just can't quite clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always this kind of like raspy, gurgly thing going on. So that was interesting that you pointed that out, because I hadn't really like put those pieces together, I guess.
Yeah. I've worked on my own throat. It's like in cycles and spirals, right? Because that's kind of how we heal. It goes through and moves in like a circles and cycles. And same thing happened to me where, I would have to like clear my throat like all the time, right? And I'd go through periods like you are where it got, exacerbated. And so to me, that's your body saying, hey, it's time to give this the attention that it needs. And so, yeah, just having awareness of that. Okay, you guys are starting to go fast here. Okay. Fear of being misunderstood and offend someone. Yeah, a lot of fear. Like I would say, the root of a lot of the things that that prevent us from being is just good old fashioned fear for, we can talk about all the persecution stories, but the root of it is the fear. Self-doubt and self-judgment, being okay with being myself. Yes. That goes like that feeling of inadequacy I was tuning into earlier. Unworthiness and self-sabotage. Yes. Fear of not being accepted or being abandoned if I express myself honestly and authentically. Fear of failure and self-doubt. Mm-hmm. My voice isn't important and what I say is wrong. Yep. Remembering it's okay to speak up now, don't need to be invisible anymore. Yes. And so if you think about invisibility, we've had to filter, we've had to dim, we've had to hide our power, our trueness, our full beingness. Okay. So that this is like when we're opening up the throat here, there is a vulnerability to it because we are coming out of hiding, and it can be a little frightening, right? To really be the full, truest expression of ourselves. I remember leaving corporate and starting, my woo-woo, with Reiki and things like that. And even, those of you who worked with me before with the light language, tons and tons and tons of fear came up, especially around the light language. And so, and still to this day, I can sometimes when I'm speaking, notice where I'm like maybe maybe mainstreaming my language a little bit so that it's not as, out there. And so, yeah, this has been a huge unfolding for me for many, many years. And I know there's still more to shift around this. Self-doubt, not feeling worthy. My needs are not important. Yeah. It's, my needs are not important is really, really important, especially when we talk about self-love, because so many of us have, really allowed ourselves to put ourselves on the back burner to make sure everyone else is happy and okay. Right. And that's a big one, especially for our S empaths. Fear of coming out and how we look to others. Absolutely. Fear of saying the wrong thing or forgetting my words. Christina, totally relate to everything Erica said. My throat has been blocked for so long and I feel it physically. I have this fear of public speaking and doing Facebook lives. Yeah. You guys, I'm sure have all heard like the number one fear isn't death, but public speaking, it's real. And told to engage the brain before opening mouth. Oh, woof, shoo, I feel a lot of that. Yeah, and the shame around that. Dang. Okay. Fear of persecution. Yes. Truth heard, but misunderstood, like not believable or fully acknowledged. Sorry, we're clearing as we're moving. Yeah, and I think that we don't want to say something where we're going to be misunderstood, because like at the core essence of our being, we want to be accepted. We want to be understood. We want to be heard and seen. At, like thinking about the little kids, and like to be misunderstood is almost like this rejection. And so of course we want to turn that around and look back within ourselves. Where have we rejected ourselves? Where have we betrayed ourselves? Where have we not allowed ourselves to be the full version of ourselves? So, okay, good stuff. Okay. So let's go into the clearing. And before I do, I want to show you guys, those of you who are on the member, I'm going to send this out to everybody. Let me see. Hold on 2 seconds. I want to show you guys a couple of tracks that I listened to today, and oh my gosh, like there was some big movement. That's kind of what kicked off me feeling all this energy. Okay. I'll send this out in the email, but in your membership, hold on, I'm on the wrong spot. Under the chakras and so in the library, scroll down to the chakra support. And there's this one here, throat authenticity. But what kicked my butt today, like in a big way, was this clearing and activating throat chakra. If we have time tonight, I'll play it, but I'll send it in the replay so you guys have those. But for those of you that are in the memberships, you can just access them there. So I wanted to show you all that, because what I was aware of as I was listening to that, I was like, oh my goodness, like, I do a lot of work on myself, but I don't always go back and listen to the light language as often as I could. And so that was kind of the reminder today, because the light codes are just going to help going deeper and deeper and deeper at multiple levels. Right. So I wanted to share that. Okay. Whew. So let's get ready to get comfortable in a place in receiving. And then we're going to bring in, I'm going to pull a card for us, and then we're going to bring in some of that clearing energy. And if anything else pops in your mind about what you want to bring into the field, just hold it in your intention, or you can also put it in the chat. Okay. So let's switch the setting here. All right. So what I'd like you to do is just begin some deep breathing. But I want you to imagine, as you're breathing, the breath is coming into the throat, like almost like a soothing light. So inhaling and really having an awareness of the breath flowing in down your throat and then filling the heart space. Okay, so we're going to use the breath to connect our minds, our throats, and our hearts. So breathing in, allowing the breath to just softly soothe down the throat, fill the heart space up. And then now on the exhale, once the heart space is filled up, let that, on the exhale, let that light, let that energy expand out all around your body. So I want you to imagine on that next exhale, expanding light all around your body. And we're just going to create a beautiful field of light within you and around you. So we're kind of setting up our space right now. And as you're breathing, beginning to relax, just noticing how your body feels. Just noticing any parts of your body that feel tight or tense. Could be the throat, it could be the heart. I'm also noticing some crown, perhaps third eye energy. And anywhere you're noticing, just allow your breath now to travel to the part of you that you are noticing a sensation or a pressure. And if you don't notice anything, just continue to breathe into the heart space like we were doing. As we're breathing, we're inviting in our divine higher self. So your next inhalation, feel your higher self coming in, merging with your body, bringing light into your body and all around your body, the light of your soul self, merging, bringing cleansing, purifying light, the light of love, the light of alchemy. And we invite in the pure essence of divine feminine and divine masculine to bring that harmony and balance to all of our energy centers. So we're now held in a field, in a field of light, in a field of transmutation. And then we'll also connect down into Mother Earth, feeling the support, allowing her healing energy to travel up into your body to support releasing all the energies we've brought into the field today that are ready to purify, that are ready to release. All of the fear, all of the repression and suppression of our voices. Everywhere we have been disconnected from our creativity, from our true expression. All of the violations, all of the persecutions, all the trauma held in our cells and our DNA, just breathing and allowing the gentle upliftment of these energies now. Knowing you are held in a very safe place, knowing that you are protected and your higher self is guiding this release, this transmission for you, trusting your higher self to guide you, to lead the way, trusting your higher self to provide you the space to open, perhaps feeling that vulnerability, perhaps feeling uncomfortable emotions as these energies rise to release. Just letting your body be the roadmap to guide your breath, to guide your intention. So our intention is to clear and transmute all of these blocks, all of these discordant, non-beneficial energies that we've carried for so long. And we include this clearing for all those in our community, family, friends. We include this in our ancestral lineage and all of humanity to receive, but beginning with yourself here. I'll just bring in some clearing energy for us here. So just continuing to breathe. la harena de ero ora sakiana de iormo orokua no koro sumo korikia. Itoro no koro san yokora san idor mahar ne ara mora nia hruna kia tene yane kiore na yana kia. Purifying waters, pure water filled with the crystalline healing source energy to flow through us and around us, purifying the waters in our body, becoming flow, becoming motion, feeling the motion and flow of your breath, just envisioning beautiful crystalline water. Maybe you're floating in it. Maybe you're underneath a waterfall, letting the beautiful waters help to clear, purify, and release. Connecting again with your higher self and just tuning into the wisdom of your higher self now. Asking your higher self to guide you, show you, or connect you with any part of your being that is afraid to be that full, powerful, true expression of you. Just asking. as more space has been created in your bodies, invite your divine self to flood you with the truth of your being, the power of your being. Feel that light flowing in and merging in, amplifying, brightening, restoring. Letting every particle of your being be flooded with love now. Feel the flow of love, whether it be through water or maybe just pure light, just receiving. Itoni kia na ya koromarasinia kana ya lorana ora sana ayane na kiata. And just taking some breaths now to really be present with your body, extending your energy down again into Mother Earth. Inviting your heart, your throat, and all of your energy to open even wider, greater. These energies will continue to flow in and release. So just keeping your space nice and open, still having this beautiful container of light surround you. Just continuing to receive. And then when you're ready, we'll bring ourselves back, present to our bodies, connected to the earth, bringing deeper breaths in. Each breath inhaling more light, each exhale expanding your space. And when you're ready, well, we will return. If you'd like to turn your cameras back on or not. But I'll give you guys a minute. And if you definitely drink some water to help keep things flowing. There was just a big invitation for us to flow. Whew. So I definitely feel a little lighter than when we began. Again, I just get the sense that things will continue to move. For those of us in the Dallas area, I know it's probably difficult to get outside right now, but perhaps moving your body and getting in a bath would be helpful. I just sense like keeping the connection to continue to move and flow, right? Lots of layers here. All right. Anyone have anything they'd like to share, or any awarenesses, or perhaps something that your guide, your higher self shared with you? You could feel free to unmute or bring it into the chat. I'll say one of the things I didn't verbalize in the meditation, but was a lot of like religious persecution. So just thinking about like Jesus popped in, and here he is, spreading messages of love, right? And he gets crucified for it, right? His message was love, and they killed him. So think about the imprint that that has on our collective, right? So, you know, Erica mentioned her own personal experiences with being shut down, and we all have them, right? We all do, but we're also carrying quite a lot that's just in our collective DNA that's been that suppression. So a lot of religious suppression, persecution, um, and you think about like the conditioning of our own media, of our own the way you know entertainment communicates with us with these heightened expectations of how you should look or how you should speak or how you should be, right? And so there's this, it's a fabrication, if you will. So the pervasiveness of the ways in which we think or we have been conditioned to express and be in this world, a lot a lot of it's just a big fabrication. It's not real, it's not true. So there's something to be said for us to really fully step out of that, right? And then what happens? Oh, she's the weird one. Oh, you're not conforming to all this toxicity that happens in our world. There's something wrong with you. So there's this collective wrongness to be different, right? To be too different, to be too unique, to be weird. And so there's some bravery that is required for us to be that truest expression of ourselves. Um, One of those recordings I showed you before the meditation addresses some of that too, like the boldness, right? So part of what was coming in, bringing this class forth was, it is required to be bold, right? And we might rub people the wrong way, you know, and so that whole people pleasing addiction can't continue on anymore, right? It's got, and so we're not going to be loved and liked by everyone. We're just not. And that's okay, because if we have so much love for ourselves, then it doesn't matter, because we're not seeking that outside approval. And therefore, there's no filters on the voice where we're having to compromise or adjust our expression for someone else. Okay. All right. Anything anybody wants to share before we go into some practices and play? No? Okay. I don't know, y'all. We're talking about throats and speaking your truth. Just kidding. Okay. So I want to talk about creation. And I touched on it when we began the call, but I want to give us some practices to play with. So how I was seeing, it's when I was doing the reading for my friend, it was like, and I've seen this a couple times. It's just, we can connect into the field of potentiality, or the quantum field. So the quantum field is where everything exists, right? There's nothing not in the quantum field, higher realm. You can, whatever you want to call it. The realm of energy that yet has come into fruition as form. So I'm seeing this, I visualize it as like all these particles that are like stars. You'll probably have a different experience. I'm trying, someone else saw something different. Was it you, Carrie? Do you mind sharing?
The Willy Wonka story.
Can you talk a little louder?
Oh, sure. The Willy Wonka story. Mike TV and the particles being sent up and then sent over and them tuning him in.
Yes. I'm sure we've all seen Willy Wonka. Do you guys remember that scene where all the particles are being sent and he goes into the TV? He's like a normal sized boy, and then he always wanted to be on TV. Okay, we'll just assume there's some yeses on that. But yeah, so it's like if you think about if you think about, everything's energy, right? Our thought forms are energy, our emotions are energy, our words are energy, our sound is energy, right? And so we're directing our intention and our energy into something that we want to bring into manifestation. So what we're going to do, I'm going to walk you guys through this, but what we're going to do is we're going to just tune into that field of potentiality. Okay. And I want you to choose something that you're wanting to bring into form, bring into your physical reality. Now, it doesn't have to even be concrete, right? Like, I mean, it could be something like a car, right? Or, whatever, something physical, but it can be a feeling, right? We're wanting to bring in the frequency of joy, right? It could be, I want to bring in the frequency of courage and feeling bold. I want to bring in the frequency of, feeling completely safe and authentic to be, that true voice. So you choose what's coming up for you. And I'll invite you to kind of not left brain this, right? Just, you might kind of bring your higher self back in right now and just maybe hand on your heart and say like, okay, what's really here for me to align with? And just kind of see what floats in for you. What would like my attention, my focus to bring into creation? It could even be creation itself, right? Like tonight we're talking about opening the flow, opening the throat so that our divine expression, our creative expression can flow more fully. So just whatever that is for you, maybe write a couple things down that come in, but we're gonna choose one when we do the practice. It's funny, I looked up, it says 1044. I said 444 on my timing on my Zoom here. So whatever that is for you, we're going to connect into the field. And you could also imagine this as like connecting into your higher self. Like lately, I've been seeing my higher self as this like gigantic, like, being of light. And I've never seen it that way, but it came in lately to perceive because I think why I was being shown that is like, oh my gosh, I'm so much greater than I realize. And I get a sense that, just in my own personal exploration, spiritual, you know, pursuing, if you will, I've had to open my capacity to perceive myself in such greater ways, but it's like I can't get it all at once. Like it probably would overwhelm me or I would like deny it. So it's like I just I would say over time I've been able to receive the greater parts of myself more and more and more of the higher self. So anyhow, we're going to connect into our higher self, however you connect or perceive or sense, or it can just be with intention. And then our higher self is going to kind of be that channel. So how I visualize, like, here's my higher self. It's within me and all around me, but fully connected out into the universe, right? Into the quantum field, into the potential of creation. So I see it all as all these little particles, like kind of like stars, kind of floating around, right? They're ready to come into form. So then what we're going to do is we're going to use our voices, right? We're going to go out in the field. We're going to connect to what we want, whatever it is you've written down. And we're going to use sound to draw it into our physical bodies. And so it can be created into this reality. And what I would recommend is for you guys to do this every day, like 5 minutes, so that you are in the active participation of creation. The active participation of creation. That's what's being asked of us by our higher selves, in my humble opinion. is to get out of the default, get out of the reactive and into the proactive participation of creation. And again, sound, your voice, your magical sound medicine voice can be the vehicle, can be the path. Those words aren't, hopefully you get my gist. There's a word, it's not coming. But anyway, the sound can help bring it into fruition. Okay. Thank you, Betsy. That's exactly the word. I was like, it's a C word. Be the conduit. Thank you. Okay, that feels better. Okay. So, questions before we play with this. Catalyst works too. Absolutely. Questions before we play. And everybody has their thing. Okay. All right. I'll put a little background music on. If you don't know what sound to make, I encourage you just to reach for an ohm. Okay, I'll do an ohm just for ease. Eventually, when you get some practice with this, the sound will start to naturally, organically come through in whatever tone. You could also hum. Okay. This is a way for us to not only support our creations and manifestations, but to access the throat. So for Erica talking about all that stuff coming up for you, this is a time where the sound can help move through. Another thing that you can do, well, I'm going to save that. We're going to do a part 2 to this. Okay. So just close down your eyes. Kind of just get a sense of like this vertical alignment of your body that connects up and out to the universe, to pure source light, pure creation. And then the alignment, that vertical alignment that also connects down through and around your physical body into the earth. So we're creating our body as the in-between, as the heart that connects heaven to earth, that connects energy to physicality, that connects potential into reality. So just kind of get a sense of that. Take a moment to get a sense of you being kind of this middle point between everything in the universe, your body, and then Mother Earth. And I'm just kind of feeling like a flow going through your body, coming up from Mother Earth and coming down from the cosmos, just kind of opening and balancing. If you're familiar with what a torus field looks like, that's also what I'm seeing, and I'll share with you guys when we come back, where this flow of energy is coming up and down in both directions, just opening up that flow within your body. So now we're going to take our consciousness and connect to our higher self, asking higher self, divine self to take us into the quantum field, into the field of potential. You can imagine this however you like. Like I see all these particles, all these light particles. I sometimes imagine them as like puzzle pieces that haven't been put together yet into the creation that I'm desiring. And in that quantum field, I want you to see sense, feel what it is that you were wanting, what you're wanting to bring into form or feel. And you might even get a sense of like the different pieces that comprise of what you're wanting to bring into form. Kind of maybe they're spread out. So you're going to kind of gather up the energy that's out in the field and begin to kind of pull it together. And it's like your intention itself begins to magnetize these particles, bringing them into form, into fruition. And once they begin to gather through that magnetic, just pulling in, just with your simple intention, we're going to bring through the sound. And as you bring through the sound, you're going to imagine that that sound pulls in your intention, your manifestation into your body, into your heart, into the earth. Okay? So connecting with all those particles of creation, seeing the intention come together. You might visualize what the outcome is. You might feel. And we're going to take a big inhalation and we'll Om together. Let's do it 3 times. In each Om, you're going to imagine those particles coming together and coming down into your being, into your heart. Big breath in. You might place your hands on your heart to kind of feel this come in, creating this resonance in your body with the experience of this being a reality in your life. It's like the energy of you receiving this is now being programmed in the cells of your body, so you can, from your heart space, just get a sense of this energy now kind of talking, sending the information to all your cells, to your consciousness. You might even imagine it kind of settling into a particular part of your body where you're going to hold it. And we'll do another Om. And this time, as you bring the energy through all these particles coming back in, I want you to imagine that as the energy comes in, it just kind of, anything that's in the way of you receiving this just kind of washes out of your body. So tuning back into the field, taking a big breath. Letting that settle. Again, bringing in the resonance, feeling the resonance with your body, with this creation. And one more time, expanding back out, connecting through your higher self into the field, gathering up any remaining particles that are still in the field. Big breath in for one more Om. And just being with this for a few moments longer, feeling the actuality of this existing, of you having it in the now. Being in the energy of having it as your reality in this moment. And letting that also communicate to all your cells, all your DNA, that this is the reality now, encoding your being. And when you're ready, we will just take a few breaths and bring our attention back to the moment, to the present. So how'd that feel? For me personally, after the first like I could really feel like the resonance, my body, like feeling the physicality of it. And it was like almost like hitting a bowl or a drum, where the vibration of the sound was in my body even after we were done with the actual tone. How about you, Erica?
Yeah, I'll share mine because it was actually pretty fun in the beginning. So my thing that I wanted to bring in was a clear communication and connection to my guides. And so I could kind of see them up there, and they were all getting really excited, like they were about to be, like the curtain's about to come up at my big debut show or something, and so they were all excited. And then I noticed myself getting too caught up in the sound, like trying to make it good or make it sound a certain way.
Yeah.
So the first one didn't resonate as much. The second, I felt it more kind of coming through my heart center and spreading throughout. And then the third one I noticed, again, it was like I was trying too hard. And so then I did a couple more, as you were talking, to kind of wrap things up. I did a couple of my own little chant sounds or whatever, and that felt a little bit more connected. Like I kind of was imagining, like I did a number of different sounds, and each one I was like, I'm connecting to you, bringing you down, bringing you down, bringing you down. And then that felt like it was more authentic to me and resonated a bit more for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I recommend to let the sound be as it is, meaning it can sound awful. Like there's some times where I'll do some toning and meditation and it's awful. It's the weirdest sounds you've ever heard. And so sound kind of has its own intelligence, right? And so it's doing what it needs to do for you. So the is a nice training wheel to get started, and let that, if that's where you want to be with it, absolutely. But I do recommend to just kind of see what comes through, because that frequency of sound that you're going to bring in is probably going to even help even more with the resonance of what you're connecting to. And thank you for sharing also about the judgment of our voices, because that's really one of the key things we're looking to continue to release, especially with the throat chakra, because we have so much of what we've held back. I mean, if we look at everybody's comments in the chat of what they're clearing, there's a lot of self-judgment around ourselves and coming in what our true expression is. And so one thing you could play with, and this is for anybody who had a similar experience, like, can I bring in acceptance of my voice, right? So like that, the next time you go and play with creation and manifestation in the quantum field, like, oh, I want to bring in love and acceptance of whatever sound wants to come through. So we can play with this exercise, not just in manifesting, but even in, healing things that come up, which we're going to do next. We're going to play with similar like what I told you guys with my ankle earlier. We're going to do an exercise around that. And then we'll close with an activation. Thank you for sharing, Erica. Anybody else like to share how it felt to bring those energies in?
I will.
Please. Oh, you just muted yourself. There you go. Yep.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My intention was to come in to harmony and alignment with my own true self. And I think where this is coming from is I just celebrated my 75th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And things just change, your identity changes. And so I'm kind of digging down into, who am I really at this stage of my life? And so it's kind of been a struggle for me, but I felt like I was one with you in the Om. I just felt that vibration between us. But what I saw was in the quantum field, which is fairly new concept for me, was all these little sparkling stars. And as I owned and brought them down, they ended up in my heart space, but my heart was just kind of sparkling and vibrating. So anyway, I'm on my way.
And now you have something you can play with and practice with.
Yes, that this will be real beneficial because, like I said, this is a real strange time in my life. So
yeah, I hear rebirth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I need that, very much for it, be able to identify how to do that. And, anyway.
Beautiful. Thank you. I saw pink light in the third Om. Oh, nice. Erica says, happy birthday, Martha. Beautiful. Yeah. And so, there's no limitation to what we can play with. And again, don't let yourself be limited by whatever sound comes out if it's not pretty. I'm starting to lose my mind. In those two tracks I'm going to send you, the one that's activating the throat chakra, I can't remember the name of it. It's not the authenticity one, it's the activating one. There's all sorts of different sounds that I'm bringing through, and none of them sound very good at all. Which I thought was funny as I was listening back. I was like, okay, well, good. This is a good example because, I've had a lot of judgment about my voice. I probably still do. I know I still do. Okay. All right, let's play with one more exercise, and then we'll do a closing activation on our voices to really notch it up a few levels. Anyone else want to share before we move on? Like some stuff from the back of our hearts are clearing. Okay. So similar experience. And this time I'll encourage you to just whatever sound and tone comes through. But if you want to stick with the Om, do whatever works for you. Okay. So I'd like for you to just come back to your body, kind of tune in to something physical in your body that you would like to give attention to. It could be, an ache, a pain. Like for me right now, my upper back is kind of talking to me, probably because I've been stuck in the house for 2 days. So does everyone have something that they can? Okay. All right. So this time we're just going, if you can reach that part of you, go ahead and place your hand there. I'm going to put it on my heart because it's kind of on the other side. And just begin to connect with this part of you. Kind of drop in, close your eyes. Put some music back on here. A part of our body that we would like to bring healing to. And if it is a place that you can reach, putting your hand on that part of your body and just breathing breath to that part of you while bringing your loving, nurturing, compassionate presence to this part of your body. You may or may not know the cause of whatever this ache or pain is, and you don't need to, because you're simply here saying to this part of your body, I'm here with you. So keeping that connection, I want you to now imagine a beautiful, healing sphere of light, perhaps a golden light, perhaps a white light or a blue, green. It can be any color. Maybe it's a rainbow light. Beautiful, sparkling sphere of light surrounding this part of your body. And we're going to fill that sphere of light with all of our love. And we can layer that love with the intention to bring this part of our body back to its original blueprint, back to its organic, perfect expression. Seeing it, feeling it, sensing it in its wholeness. And when you're ready, we're going to bring all these intentions as we're beaming love, sending our healing, loving energy into that sphere, into that part of your body. And we're going to layer the sound. So just letting whatever sound comes through, it doesn't even have to be, just whatever comes through. You can hum, you can tone, you can ohm. Just let it be organic, and it can change. And so I'm actually going to stay quiet to not interfere with your sound. But just when you're ready, begin to tone and sound and hum loving, healing energy to your body. As you're deepening your connection and continuing the sound, you can open to receive any messages that this part of your body might want to share with you. So it's like a two-way communication. Letting the sound soothe this part of you. Really letting your body relax, letting the sound of your voice, of your throat, send waves of harmonic, healing, balancing energy. You might notice that your voice or your sound changes. And you can even sound silently, just imagining that tone. If there's somebody in your around, or you're not in a space to actually verbalize sound, you can do this exercise by simply imagining the sound. Sometimes experiences in our physical body are also connected to other places. So if that awareness is true for you, you could place another sphere of light on another part of your body and begin to tone and sound and send that healing, loving energy to both parts or multiple parts. And before we come back, let's all place that sphere of beautiful healing energy in our throats, just letting it encompass our entire front, back, neck, even like shoulders. And then we're going to just send a nice, beautiful tone filling our entire throat chakra and the field around our throat chakra, opening, lightening, harmonizing. And just whenever you're ready, taking a few deep breaths, coming all the way back, letting this really be present in your physical body. And then we'll return for a quick share, and then we'll do our final activation. So as you're returning, this is what we're going to kind of go deeper with next time on our March 1st call. And I'll also be bringing through light language activation to activate your own light language. So much of that is turning on. And I know, I've just had the experience, like when I taught my Energy Alchemy Academy, the first time that, practically, I think everybody at this point, because we were all doing the light language so often, like everybody's activated, right? So if you listen to light language long enough, you will get activated. And the only thing in the way of that is, our own judgment, like Erica was saying. So, I'm going to be bringing through something specific so that you guys get activated and you can utilize that, because that's just another, layer to amplify. Because when we bring the light language in and we can really get ourselves out of the way, man, like there's so much that we can do to support ourselves in our healing journey. I had a vision of a dolphin swimming in the water and calling out to other dolphins through sound. Oh my gosh, Betsy. I would, there's so much. So here's what I have so much to say about that, but I don't want to, I'll go down a rabbit hole. But what I feel like, for all of us, we can do with this, and Betsy in particular, like ask the dolphins to help you remember how to use your sound, how to use your voice. We, Darlene, who's with us this evening, we were swimming with the dolphins in Kauai, in November, and the lady who was leading us, said like if she were to put her toe in the water, the dolphins, with the frequency, they know who you are just by the frequency that your body transmits through the water. Oh my goodness, right? Like there's stories around, like Stonehenge and the pyramids that, that the stones were lifted through sound. And there actually are experiments that you can find on YouTube where, they've lifted really light objects. Like, so the object will hover over this platform, just through sound frequency, just through the, frequency of the vibration of sound. So we know, right? We know the dolphins and the whales communicate in that, what is it, sonar. I'm like feeling really high right now. um, so back to what I was saying, maybe all of us in our dreams tonight, we can ask to receive that from the dolphins. Ever since that experience, there's one of the dolphins that we swam with. They began communicating with me before we even met them. We were across the island in Hilo driving over to Kona, or vice versa. Yeah. And, we were getting ready to go there. And we got in the car and the dolphin started communicating with me, and I was just like sobbing, because there's just so much love. Like there's so much love. It was almost like overwhelming to receive. So they're certainly getting our attention, and, they're holding a vibration that are helping us open and leading us back. So thank you for sharing that, Betsy. Erica, I got really, really tired. Felt like I just wanted to lay down and go to sleep. Not even that long of doing the tones. Yeah. So yeah, just a little practice every day, I think, can be really helpful. I like to do it in the shower, of course, because then we've got the water, right? We've got the water with the sound, right? Speaking of water, you can, hum or tone to your water. That actually will structure the water and help you, help to encode the water, right? We've probably all seen Emoto's hidden messages in water. So we can, if we want to, like, let's say we want to infuse the water with joy. Actually, I've already written joy. I got some light codes in here and some, light language I've written on here, but, you can tone into the water and the sound will imprint itself in the water. So you layer your sound with your, intention, and that helps to, not only raise the vibration of the water, but encode it. There's so many fun things that we can do, and it's really powerful. And grateful that I didn't listen to my ego and do self-love, even though I love teaching about self-love, because I know we can all use more of it. I know I can. And Erica, back to what Erica was saying, when we get tired, it's because things are moving, right? That's right. It requires a lot of energy for us to shift our energy. So, very common, as I'm sure you know. Martha had a feeling of calm and warmth move through my body, ending with a sense of well-being. Yes, I did too. That's how I feel a little sleepy too, because I definitely felt everybody's energy as we're moving through this. So, of course, we're connected in the field. And going back to, our clearing experience in the beginning of class, if that something like that comes up for you, whatever it is that you're looking to clear, connect to that part of your body. Hey, body, show me where I'm holding this fear. Hey, body, show me where I'm holding this judgment, and begin to tone into that, right? Oh, that's cool. The color of the sphere changed as I changed my toning. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's so cool. Very, very cool. Okay. So, in closing, I'm just gonna probably what I think I'm just gonna do, and it could change, is just bring through some languages and some sound with the intention to really activate, open, upgrade our voices, our throats. I'm also feeling a lot of sacral chakra, because these two play hand in hand in the creation game, right? So our sacral is about creation, our throat's about the expression. And of course our whole being is. But I'm gonna I think what I might do is go, well, I don't know if I'm gonna do all the chakras, but I feel like there's gonna be some focus on kind of helping open and activate chakras related to expression and creation and all that fun stuff. Okay. Questions? Any other shares? Do you guys want to break before we do the last? I know we're in the last 20, but okay. Okay. I was just looking to see if there was anything else I missed in my notes. I'll let you guys know about the sound healing course, because I'm going to do like an overhaul with it, and it will be live and online mixed together. Oh, and then of course, like if you guys really want to go down and dirty and dive into this, Darlene, who's on our live with us tonight, we're hosting a 4-night retreat in Enchanted Rock, which is in Fredericksburg, Texas. That's where we were this weekend. And we're going to be doing a lot of what we've done here today, but we're taking it not just in sound. We're going to be doing it with movement, with art, with writing, right? Full expression, full creative expression. And so we've got some really beautiful experiences for you. The land itself is just pure magic. So if you guys want to know about that, just send me a message. That's March 16th through the 20th. And there are some rooms left, and the property is just like, it's like a vortex. It's just really, really cool. Miss anything on that, Darlene? Okay. Okay, let's go. Y'all are blowing me out today. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're just going to do a receiving here. I'm just going to bring some light language in, and we'll see where we flow. I'll encourage everybody to get really grounded, because the energy is starting to like kind of fly me out of my seat right now. So, oh yeah. Christina said my favorite place to hike. Yeah, we'll hike. Not everyone may want to hike to the top, but we'll hike to the top of the summit. There's so many things I could say about that place, but we'll move into the meditation. Okay. I'm a little high right now. Sorry. All right, let's all just take some nice deep breaths, getting nice and grounded. Whew. Any intentions for this meditation that you would like to bring in? Right, so we talked about really activating, upgrading, and bringing our throats online to to be in the space of that pure, authentic, divine expression and creation through and with our bodies and our higher self, and anything else that you would like to, I would say activate. Like, let's not bring in the clearing for this. Really, like, I want to bring more joy. I want to bring more authenticity. I want to bring more pleasure. You know, like Martha talked about the rebirthing. So I want to, birth this within myself. What do I want to turn up? What do I want to turn on? Okay. I just get a sense of like blossoming. So if we're planting a garden and we're planting the seeds, what do we want to grow? What do we want to harvest? Nice big deep breaths, letting your energy really expand here. Expanding out into that quantum field, merging again with your higher self at even a deeper level now, feeling yourself and your higher self as one, feeling the light of your higher self brighten your body, your aura. Letting your higher self move through each one of your chakras, restoring that blueprint, restoring that divine blueprint, that crystalline energy. Kiano oriane era, ianere erorini, iri ormiro ormuro, rosakariana ni ariana ni ana ayana. Didiani orunurunike ormusun rokrana riatana niatane. Itoro bariana namaro kunonoraki. Eloriana re ni kormoro niatere la granere, coriana re ormoro kua. Etoro moro kunana maorianare lokriana oranare yakia. Really breathing in the heart, letting your hearts open and expand big here. Letting the energy of your heart chakra beam throughout your whole body now. support you in this experience of activating and bringing online your divine voice, your divine expression. Ora sokriana ya kriana re sokriana ne mero rano oro sokorona ia korosa na re iore itani oro mo oro to oro sokua. Sakariana de Coranari, Kunmuru, Sukuro, Oroma, Oro, Barakine, Ido, Oro, Nida, Oro, Kuno, Koro, Uro, Oro, Suru, Ki. Just kind of sensing your wings opening, wings unfolding, your energy expanding. Pero ora koro etana oreki tada areki de edo orokuna no koroko sanare kiaya. E shokora sata yene era arasana de eto orokora nara arekia. Etoro rasake nere era arekine de erosumo orokine ekio orokua. Now just connecting with all of your being, just allowing yourself to notice any part of your body that might need a little extra attention. And then I'm going to invite you once again to bring in that sound, a tone, just a loving energy to flow through your body. Or you might even like to just sound or tone and bring it through your entire body and being. And while you do that, I'm just going to bring in a few more light codes. E toro rema orena na oro sukuria sata ne eta yede e koroma oro sukure kiana ariki. E shokoras ne e lahan or kua. E korasa kietane e koroma arasanare e lahare I orukua. Ora sakarene e rea e tahranari I nakiana. I ora sanare e shanare e tora samu oraki. Ora sanare e tora hana I ora sahayeshe e kaya kiana. Ora hane e tora haketene I soma ara anaki. Ora soda ia te la hana ora satoto ki. Iano ormo orokutare. E tala are e tore mi ino orakia. Let's just breathe really deeply, opening up our bodies and energies once again to invite in that flow of crystalline waters, helping everything settle, feeling saturated with the purity of crystalline healing waters, letting it flow through us, letting us become the waters, everything in motion. Everything in flow. E tōna kareana ore me irora sahiana ya koreana ya kia. E tō raneri koramo ora sonara hiana ya kia. We're also going to bring in the energy of fire, letting that begin to burn in your abdomen, just restoring your power, restoring the power of your being to be that expression verbally, creatively. And inviting the fire to transmute anything else that is ready, you are ready to release today. Let's take a few grounding breaths, just really bringing our energy present in our bodies and then down, connecting into that crystal core of Mother Earth. And once again, feeling that vertical alignment with everything above, connecting out into the vast infinite universe, and then feeling our bodies and our hearts as the center point to connect all that into the physical, into the earth. And finally, just taking a moment to honor yourself, your courage to express, to speak, to use your voice, honoring the truth of why you're here, allowing that to unfold even in deeper ways, perhaps with more clarity, envisioning the life that you were meant to live. And just sending yourself a big wave of love, maybe even giving yourself a little hug. When you're ready, coming back and opening your eyes. If you'd like to close with any questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording and thank everybody for being here. You can listen to this, I'll try to pull out the meditations and the sound part so that you can just receive those if you want. And I'll, for everybody who is here, I'll send those other 2 recordings when I send out the replay. And if anyone wants any information about the retreat in Enchanted Rock, you can just send me an email or a message. And I think I'm mush. So I'll stop the recording if I can. I don't even know where there it is.